Two, this is Little Majin's much needed changes for Tekken 8 Season 2.
I got Brian and Jin because they're like prime offenders of having like ridiculous heat burst range. Range 3. Yeah, so about right here. It still reaches.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that a lot of people don't really talk about is like the range on that heat move. That heat activation has so much range, and I feel like the rage art has like a godly amount of range as well. But that's the thing, I don't think they'll nerf that. I think they did that intentionally because heat, you know, hitting you and it being something they can rely on, that's a part of the streamlined gameplay. The way Lil Majin is saying to reduce the range on this, if they do that, there's a lot of combos that all of a sudden will no longer work. Yoshimitsu does something like this, does that, and then heat activation. You see how far that heat activation reach? And that's what allows Yoshimitsu to keep going. So if they nerf the range on it, that combo doesn't work. And so many other combos also doesn't work. Some people say it's necessary. I don't know. I just wanted to highlight that. But let's go back to Little Majin.
At range 3. So that is no good. And same for Brian. Like, let's go to range 3 with him, and I'm gonna have him to do.
Yeah, see, that's crazy.
Just ridiculous range. That needs to be toned down. If there are other characters with even further reaching heat bursts, it's just at the tip of my mind right now. There are definitely other characters, but I know these two like for sure.
Wait, so is he saying that every heat burst doesn't reach the same distance? Because he is a stubby? Oh, so certain characters do have greater reach. So I wonder where Yoshimitsu's at in that, because it seems like Yoshimitsu's reach is pretty far then.
You should be able to decide if you want to go for more damage or if you want to activate heat. It should be some sort of a balance with that. It should be some sort of a sacrifice, you know.
And that's kind of how they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be like, because when you activate heat, you lose damage. So they wanted you to activate heat, lose damage, but you can reach farther with your combo. But a character like Yoshimitsu can activate heat, lose damage, reach the wall, and then get unscaled damage or like a guaranteed follow-up. So you're escaping their balancing.
I'm just having to do AOP into duck. Yeah, this should never be a thing. Like if you're using heat, it should never be crushed by like any AOP or like AOP duck or any of that stuff.
So this is something that players talked about a lot at the start of Tekken 8 is Xiaoyu's AOP and how it evades more. And we don't have a problem with it evading because that's how the move is supposed to work, right? But I do think when the move is evading more than it did in Tekken 7, it's kind of a problem, right? It's too effective. Like this heat thing should hit it. Xiaoyu can avoid Yoshimitsu's God Hand. That's something she was not able to do. Stuff like that should not happen.
I think they should lower the hit boxes so that you shouldn't be able to crush under a heat burst. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about that one, but yeah.
I don't know if they should lower the hitbox on heat burst because then you will have the issue where it hits you when you're trying to tech roll at the wall. I think AOP is the problem, not the heat burst. The moves that are evading, you need to raise the hitbox so they could get hit by it. Don't lower those hitboxes because that will create an issue standing up. I guarantee you.
So yeah, you can actually hit someone on the low walls.
Yeah, see, that's exactly what I was talking about. You see how he did the heat low and hit at the wall? That's why you don't lower the hitbox.
But for some reason, her being an AOP can just crush under this at will.
And that's why I was saying that it's an AOP problem. It's not a heat problem. It's the AOP is what needs to be changed.
If I go to range 3, no, it's not happening.
Oh, so his range is shorter than Jin's.
You can't like do a parry to stop a heat smash. They're just too strong with priorities, so they shouldn't be homing or like tracking at all.
I do agree that heat smashes are too strong. They break through a lot of parries. They break through power crush. The only thing that beats a heat smash is a rage art, basically. Once again, I don't think they'll nerf it. It just seems like they want these tools to be god tools.
At the very least, they need to be totally linear. Make it so that you have to actually mix up your like homing move or your heat smash. Like it needs to be some kind of a mix up here instead of just a free heat smash as soon as you get it. Like that's, yeah, I think that needs to.
Nah, they won't make them linear. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they make them linear. I don't think they decrease the range. I don't think they may decrease the damage. That's at minimum. I don't think they decrease the idea of it, you know, breaking floors and walls and stuff. They won't do that, which I necessarily don't think that's an issue, that it breaks floors and whatnot. I think that's a cool part of it. But I do think that they should just try to nerf like the damage output, right? Like if you do a heat smash and it triggers the wall, after the damage you do should be small. And then also the travel afterwards should be hindered.
And for the characters that have low hitting heat smashes, same thing. They all need to be totally linear.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
She's actually following you. And I just tried the low parry.
That's crazy.
Like
that
it does
like
too much.
Yeah, it's too much. The fact that it tracks to both directions, you can't low parry it. Even if you do block it, you still can't do anything to this move. It's too powerful. Lee does this low heat smash, and basically her turn should be over. But what you're saying is it's not over, because anything that you do that is higher than 13 frames, she can counter you preemptively with an armor attack. The only way you can take your turn is with a move that is at 13 frames or lower, but all of those 13 frame moves don't reach her, is what you're saying. Yeah, so I'm with you guys. Screw that move. That move sucks. I hate that move, and they should nerf it.
Totally linear. They need to all have the tracking of King's 4-4 neutral too. Yeah, you see that? Trying to get like the smallest step I can get. Yeah, just like
I don't know. I love the idea. I just have no faith.
Visual example of how I want it to be done. I think that would definitely help balance the game, and it'll make people use their heat a lot more wisely.
See, that's the part. It would make people use their heat more wisely. I don't think the developers want that. They're making this game for people who don't understand the game. So they're giving them these attacks that does a lot of the work for you. Moon, you still complain even if they did change it? I don't think I agree with that. Of course, a lot of people know that I am not happy with this game, and I talk trash about it pretty frequently. But a lot of people forget about the days of me, happily playing Tekken 7 with no complaints at all. When I started to complain is when they added like Fakaram and Leroy, and my complaints were only at them. I have a comment in the video I think you would agree on. A nerf I want for heat is the continuation of heat smashes. When you whiff a heat smash, should not have any extensions and should be highly punishable. If I'm at this range with Yoshimitsu and I whiff an attack, let's say I do like poison breath, like you will realize that Yoshimitsu just whiffed and you will go in and try to hit him. So there is times where like I am at this range and I'll intentionally whiff the first hit of heat smash so that you run into me and you get hit by the second 2 or 3. So I do get what you mean when you say like, that shouldn't be a thing, because, that's something that I do all the time. It's like I'll literally be right here and I'll whiff heat smash and hope you run into the first 2. And even if you don't run into it, I'm still coming at you. So you're going to have to block regardless. Like you better be blocking this whole time. You better be blocking, or even when you do block, I get a mix up at this range with mix up. Hey, thanks, KDL. Bro is a 18-month member. That's crazy, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Force you to have to use more moves that track that might not be as beneficial on blocking on hit.
His idea is that the heat smashes shouldn't track, so you have to use more moves that do track. But what about characters who don't have good tracking tools? Should their heat smash keep tracking or not? Because if you say they should do this because of this, then you have to think about all the characters who don't factor into this.
So the next thing that I would like to get nerfed here are heat engagers. Obviously, like that's going to be a touchy subject because like some characters have like super safe ones. Some characters have unsafe heat engagers. Like Demon Paws, I don't know, like negative.
All of these characters who run and they do this like punch at you, this Superman punch, I hate that. Tracking, like fast, mid, spammable, it takes no effort to do that. Keep up the good work. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you. I love using Demon Paw. Playing against a Demon Paw feels bad. Using Demon Paw is cool, but when you're on the receiving end of it, it's not fun.
Heat Dash needs a nerf, and this is the one that I don't really care for at all. Look at the chip damage. It's 8 normally, right? Demon Paw has 3 different chip damages.
Lil Maj is bringing up a lot of good points, but honestly, I don't think the developers are going to care nothing about this video, and they're not going to do it. They're not going to nerf the chip. They're not going to nerf the plus frames. They're not going to nerf the tracking. They're just not going to do it. You know, we sit here and we say, like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. One, we are not the majority of the player base. Two, if they did do that, you guys would cry like crazy. If they did that for Kazuya, the Kazuya mains would be crying like babies. If they nerfed Yoshimitsu's, back 2-2 heat dash. Like, everyone is so protective of their characters, and if they went through and they nerfed every character's heat plus frames tracking this, it would be chaos. They nerfed one of Victor's attacks. They did this like 3 months ago, right? And Victor's players was on Twitter crying. They nerfed one of Dragunov's attack, and Dragunov players were talking about quitting. Tekken players are just crybabies, bro. I don't think the developers can nerf like that. The Tekken players are just big crybabies.
Whether it's a heat smash or just a regular move that can send the opponent flying so far away.
Whoa, nah, see, that was crazy. This game is crazy. What is that? See, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, all of that.
I feel like this game has a lot of things that's cool to do, but when it's done to you, it's not cool. Like, it's cool. Like, if you're the Paul Phoenix player and you do this, it's awesome. You're like, yeah, this is awesome. But if you're the Jin player, you're like, this game sucks.
Heat moves, I think, should do way more. You see that? 2, 3, do 4 of those from a full heat gauge. That's just too much.
1, 2. Yoshimitsu can only flash 2 times. Let's do 1, 2, 3. So the electrics are enhanced by heat. He could do 4 of them. And that's with me activating heat burst, which already decrease how much heat you have ready, right? But when Yoshimitsu does heat enhanced flashes, he can only do 3 of them.
Look at this. He can only get 3 of them.
So 3.
Most times he can only do it twice. Like, if he does it here from a heat burst, you only can do 2. Then you're totally out of heat. You can't.
And the reason why I'm highlighting Yoshimitsu is because Yoshimitsu's was nerfed. Yoshimitsu's was nerfed. Claudio's was nerfed. That's why I'm highlighting those characters, is because at a point in time you were able to spam 5 flashes in heat with Yoshimitsu, but they nerfed it to 3 and 2, like Lars is, like Claudio is. So there's characters who are still able to do 5, 6 heat enhanced attacks. Why are you just picking what characters to move down? Move them all down.
This move here is a launcher, and you can't sidestep it either.
With Jin got. Wow.
Homie.
But they make these moves like this intentionally, right? I don't think they'll nerf this. I know I keep saying it, but I just don't. They made Law's nunchuck track to both sides, heat, screw like this. They did all of it. It was on purpose. There's no way all of this was a mistake. If it was 1 attack, 2 attacks, maybe 5 attacks, it would be a mistake. But when every character in the game does this with so many different of their moves, it's intentional. And you have to then think about why they did it. And when you realize they did it because of players who don't know how to play the game, that's when you come to the conclusion that they're not going to undo it.